All right, so this is going to be some just extra 2-point perspective stuff. So I just made a quick little template of a house because on your project, you're going to be drawing probably a different or unique building. I want it to be different than just the basic L-shaped house. So there are going to be different things you're going to have to draw. So in this little example, I'm going to try to do a deck on one side in case you wanted to add a deck onto whatever building you want to do. And you could feel free to practice this on your first L-shaped house. And then I'm going to show you how to do stairs because that's another common thing that people probably want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a deck over on this side. And what I recommend that you would do is decide like how high you want the deck and how big it's going to be. So what I would do is like on this corner here, I would just make like a couple of dots as a reference. So imagine that's going to be where the deck is going to jut out. And this height here is how thick they're going to be. Okay. So then what I have to do is I want the deck to continue out in this direction, following the way that this wall is going. So I'm going to draw two lines through these vanishing points from the right vanishing point. So you would line up with the right and you would draw out and you figure out how far out you want your deck to go. So I'll go out like that, but you can start drawing at the dot. Like you don't have to draw it all the way from the vanishing point, but this line comes from the vanishing point. Okay. The second line will come from the vanishing point. Once again, decide how far you want that deck to come out. Okay. And then on one of these, just do a vertical line. And that's where it gets cut off. And if you drew one a little bit too far, you'll just erase. So it's basically going to look like that to start. I can erase this little piece in between here. Okay, so this is going to be like the side of my deck. Okay. Then what I can do is I can take these two corners to this vanishing point. Okay. And then I'll cut that off, but I might wait to decide where to cut that off. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, so I did these two corners, I'm going to do this top corner to the vanishing point as well. Okay. But now this top corner should probably stop like at the end of the house. So this line here goes to the left vanishing point. I'm going to stop at the end of the house. And then I'm going to take this new spot right here away from the right vanishing point. So it's going to come out like this. So the deck is kind of tricky because like almost every line uses a vanishing point, and so you never want to like make up these angles. So that was kind of invented here, and then from here now I would just go straight down. Okay, so something like that. And then if I erase my extra lines out, it should kind of make sense. It should basically look like a board hanging in the air. And that's kind of what we want to start with. Okay, so now I've got my deck and it's just like hanging up in the air here. Now we do want to put legs on this. And people can mess this up and make it look really awkward. Because if you make the leg like extra long, it's going to look funny. So it should line up on the ground along level with the house. So what I recommend you do is let's make a little guideline. So you would imagine that this house line would continue out. So what you would do is right here, you're drawing a guideline that is a continuation of this line right here away from the right vanishing point. That now determines where the bottom of my leg has to be. So then I'm going to go back here. And I can decide if I want my leg to be like flush with this or if I kind of want it to be underneath a little bit. I'm going to put mine, so if you did it right on this corner line, that means your wooden leg is flush with the side. If you want it in a little bit, you could do that. So I'm going to put mine in a little bit. And I got to go all the way down to this guideline here. Okay, and then the bottom of this leg is going to now go to this vanishing point. I would leave that line going all the way because that's going to be a guideline for where the bottom of the back leg goes. And then this is just going to follow right along the guideline. But what you do is you only make it as wide as you want the leg to be, right on that guideline. And then you just bring it back up. Okay, and then you just cut it off on this side with a vertical line. Okay, so there's my leg. And then if I go back to this side, you just put the vertical line where you want the leg to kind of be here. Okay, and then the bottom's going to run along this line, and then you're going to have another vertical line here. And then here, the bottom corner right here would actually go all the way to the right vanishing point. But you don't have to draw it all the way. You're just going to draw it a teeny bit. and then you can make it go straight up. Now there is a technical way to determine where this happens. I'm just eyeballing it, but I guess technically, if you wanted to make it perfect, you would take this corner here as a guideline to the vanishing point, and actually mine lines up really good. It should line up right here is where that corner should be. So actually I eyeballed it and I got it right. So that's how you would determine where that back bottom corner is, by lining up with the bottom corner of this to the vanishing point. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. This back leg here, I don't think we would see it, maybe just a teeny bit on the bottom, but the way I drew it, I don't know that I would really see it, but we would still have the leg on this side. So let's go back and finish the leg on this side. So once again, I do have mine inset just a little bit, so we'll have it come down. Okay, it'll just, the bottom will be right against this. I do want the width of this to be about the same width as this one, and then a vertical. And then we take the bottom of this to the left vanishing point, and I'll just make it as wide as I want it to be, and then straight up. Okay, so something like that. And then I can take my eraser now and I can clean this up a little bit. So we can take that line out, this line out, and this, no, that's the bottom of the house, but here, those lines are interfering there. And then this red guideline would go as well. Okay, so there is my deck. Okay, and then as a nice touch, you would maybe want to put like a patio door up here or something. So you could just decide where that's going to be with a vertical line. And then maybe you want to go down to the vanishing point. Once again, you don't have to draw it all the way. You can decide how far that goes. And then maybe just a line in the middle for where the doors separate. Now you can get really technical because these doors would have like 3D edges and things like that going to the vanishing points. I won't really show that in this demo. I'd say any really detailed stuff, we'll just do that on a person by person example as it maybe comes up in your drawing. So that's the deck with the door. I'm going to do the stairs in a separate video. So that'll be it for this one.